No matter what, I'm feeling great.
We are so glad to have you back on our meditation special series on Light of Knowledge. Today, we are going to talk to you about orphans, cute little kids waiting to be adopted or waiting to be taken in by families, by foster parents. To help us answer some questions on this issue, we have with us in our studio Dr. Donika. Welcome to the show, Dr. Donika.
Thank you. Shanti.
Dr. Donika, I can just visualize an orphanage, and I'm just imagining these little kids who are so vulnerable. They have lost their parents, or for one reason or the other, they have come to an orphanage. And they have to live with others of their own age group, or even older than them, who may not necessarily be related to them. There's no blood relation. So here in our families, it's hard to get along even with our blood relations, leave alone living with strangers. So how does all of that fit in the mind of a little child who is not even aware of his surroundings?
That's a very interesting topic to be talked about. Firstly, we come to the starting point, the word orphan. Mm-hmm. The word orphan has been derived from the Latin word orphanus, which means parentless child. Mm-hmm. Today, all over the mankind, or we all together, have forgot our supreme parent, that is supreme father, Shiv Baba. So in one or the other sense, we all were orphans.
We are orphans, you're right. Yeah.
And right. Adding the next and the important aspect to it, orphans are really a very concerned case to be seen. Till today, we were having the feeling that orphans are the parentless child, but let us go into their steps, let us try to have empathy for them. When one feels, or when a child comes to know that I have no parent, the first thing he has in his internal mind or inner self is he is lack of love.
Yes, and in one of our earlier episodes, we had talked about that no matter what age you are, everyone is looking for the true love. And as a child, I can just imagine, to have that feeling that nobody belongs to me and I don't belong to anyone. That is such a crisis in a person's life.
Such a very emotional aspect it has. He said, nobody belongs to me and I belong to no one. Mm-hmm. It leaves a total vacuum. Mm-hmm. No space for me to get belonged and nobody for me to whom I belong. Mm-hmm. Here, meditation in the Brahma Kumaris give a very, very vital sense, because we all here learn that we are the souls and we are the children of that supreme soul. Mm-hmm. So we all as souls are brothers, and that father is our supreme father. The moment I realize that he is my father, that is the moment where I replace the feeling of vacuum into love, and unconditional love from a father. Today, it's not that only orphans are facing the problem for lack of love. Mm-hmm. Today, we see even the children who are adopted and even the families in which the children are living with parents, they feel somewhere or the other the lack of love. Mm-hmm. But here the concern is that when we understand that Supreme Father is my father, feeling that they were having of rejection, that there is nobody of mine, here it slowly and gradually turns into a feeling that Supreme Father is mine.
Okay, so that just one shift in the thought from saying that I don't belong to anyone and nobody belongs to me, once we connect ourselves to the Supreme Father, then we are living with our family.
And yes, and then we are living with a family, but this thought should be from the internal heart. Mm-hmm. From my whole heart, I should feel that Father is my Father. And once I get that feeling now, I can cross all the hurdles in my life. It's not that I am orphan, that's why I can't progress. I have seen number of cases. We usually go to an orphanage to conduct some As being a black belt in Taekwondo, I regularly go because females, they have to be made more self-confident in that aspect.
Sure.
There is a special female orphanage in our place, and there they regularly call us so that the females can be trained to be self-confident and self-defense techniques.
Oh, so you teach them Taekwondo there?
Yeah.
How very nice.
And there we come to know that it's not the feeling of orphans that is making them detached from the society or away from the society. It's the feeling that I have nobody in my life with whom I can get concerned with. But once we teach meditation to them, once we have the internal feeling of belongingness with my Father, my life is like, oh, now whatsoever hurdles come into my life, I will tell my parent, that is my Supreme Father, and as He is there with me, imagine the creator of the whole world is my Father. The total shift of consciousness. You can see, if somebody's parent is having a good personality, he may be a, you can say, chief minister, president or anything like that, how much he is having the self-esteem. He has a very high self-esteem that I am the child of president, and if he has to go and meet his father, he can go at any time, and he doesn't need any appointment too.
That's right.
Yeah, for others, they have to come and meet that person, that honorable dignity, they have to take the appointment and follow the procedure. But till now I was thinking that father is very higher and I am at a very lower aspect. We had created a wall in between us, but now meditation is creating a bridge, a pathway for us to get connected to our Supreme Father. And once I get that feeling, there can be any hurdle in my life, but due to His accompaniment, I can just rule out all those things.
Right. This factor can help us with our self-esteem as well.
Yeah.
If we connect to our Supreme Father, then we don't have to feel lonely.
Yeah.
Because loneliness is one aspect which I'm sure most of us feel at some point or the other. But especially if you're an orphan, the title itself, labels, our society has a tendency to label. And once somebody is labeled as an orphan, that itself will play very heavily on the mind of the child.
And many of the pressures are there on the child. As you said, one is the emotional factor, that is loneliness. He has an isolated feeling that with whom he will share his things, what he has emotionally. The other thing is economically also he is not that very stable, so he can't get that affection from the family. He has no care or special treatment from the family. There are challenges, but once I get the accomplishment that whatsoever challenges are there, I accept those challenges and I have an attitude of facing all the problems with a positive approach, that this loneliness, I have to come out of it. Whenever I feel lonely, the reason is that I am not able to share my emotional things to others, my emotional feelings with others.
Can I just bring one point up at this time? Sometimes children have a tendency to have an imaginary friend. I have seen that where maybe there is some kind of loneliness in them, and they don't need to be orphanages. I mean, they don't need to be an orphan. But in spite of that, they will have an imaginary friend. So I was just thinking, if we made God, and He's not even imaginary, He's real.
He is real.
So if we made Shiv Baba our friend, then how wonderful. Because our imaginary friend may not necessarily give us a response, but our Baba will give us a response, right?
One thing is, not only imaginary friends, these orphans, whether they are staying in an orphanage or they are being adopted by the parents, here the thing is that they also have friends, but these friends have limitations. It's not that all the friends we can rely on, or anytime we call for help they will be available 100%. But this friend, the Supreme Friend, He has a guarantee. Just from the bottom of the heart you call Him and He will be there to help us. And I have experienced myself that help from Him at every difficult task of my life. I would like to share, when I was trapped in the earthquake, that is 26 January 2001, my parents were away from the city. They were not in Bhuj Kutch, in Gujarat, but I was there and my brother was there. There, when the earthquake had started, we realized that it's an earthquake, and we were in a building called Happy Palace on the 3rd floor. 2 children not having parents in the building, what situation they might be. But as I was practicing meditation from childhood, I just had a inner talk with myself. This is earthquake, and I would just connected to Shiv Baba, that Shiv Baba, now you have to take me out of this situation. I was in the canopy of that parent, you see.
Wow.
And as soon as I got connected with him, I got an internal signal. You see, when we have the transparency of mind, we can catch the vibrations, we can catch our intellect becomes so clean and clear that we can get that response. And I personally felt that Baba was giving me a catching, that you don't have to move away, you don't have to go out of the flat, but stay inside it. And as I was studying, preparing for my board exams, I just sat beneath the table. The study table. The whole earthquake, all the things were falling from up, and there was total dust, water, because all the water tanks were destroyed. I was not even, you can say, affected for a second, and you will be astonished to know, even I didn't remember my parent also.
Wow, isn't that a wonderful story?
That's what I think, that each and every orphan brother or sister of ours, if have that much of, you can say, keen love with him, we can have that, we won't even be having that feeling that we don't have parent.
You know, this really brings home the point that even though we may have biological parents, they may not be with us during the time of need. You know, in your situation, like you were a student and you had to stay away from your parents. So this brings home the point that only God can be with us. Only Shiv Baba can be with us at all times.
Exactly. And see what the help he has given. Our half of the palace, Happy Palace, A wing and B wing. We were in B wing and we had to go through the A wing when we had to go out. And in that earthquake, the whole building, A wing, from which we have to go, that building was totally collapsed. It was totally destroyed. And if we would have tried to got out, we would also have been a victim of it. So it's a good message for our orphan sisters and brothers, that whenever they are in a situation of difficulty, that they don't understand what to do, or they have an isolated feeling, they are feeling lonely, and they want to share their feelings with someone, or they have any hurdles in their life, just have full authority to that Shiv Baba, my Supreme Father, that Baba, you have to help me out. It's not that I'm asking for help. I'm telling with authority that you are mine and you have to help me out. And I've experienced help in each and every walk of my life, that whenever I have talked with him with full authority, he is doing that thing to me.
So this is very good to know that our dear Father is listening to us, and we don't need to hesitate to ask his help.
Yes.
The next time we are in some kind of problem, with the same love that I'm seeing reflected in you, and the connection that I'm seeing in you, and the authority that you talked about, we call out to our Father and He is going to help us right away.
And it's guaranteed. It may be that it may take some time. It's not that immediate help. Sometimes it may happen that sometimes we are not getting the immediate help, but after a while we come to know that He has sent somebody as an instrument to help me out, and the things which I was thinking of, they are going out so smoothly.
Very nice, very nice. You know, this we talked about, like loneliness and depression, but orphans can go through a gamut of emotions. And that goes on a big scale, from, you know, getting depressed to getting angry, to having misconduct of behavior, to outbursts and rage, and it can go on and on and on. So again and again, I come back to the same point in my mind, that meditation is the only solution.
And you see, the orphans, they have somewhere or the other fear in your mind. Fear in their mind. There is a huge part of fear in their back of the mind, that if I am not having my parents, what would be my life? There is a big insecurity they are facing through.
Insecurity.
Yeah.
Yes.
And this insecurity part that they are having, it can be ruled out only through meditation. And if we can have meditation in all the orphanages, it would really be a wonderful journey for all the orphanage brothers and sisters.
You know, these orphanages you talked about, where you go to teach Taekwondo, do you also teach a meditation there?
First of all, I just give them self-confidence boosting practical tips over there, perform some tips over there. then they become so much, you can say, flexible, and so much they get mixed and involved with us. Then slowly and gradually we then turn their consciousness to the soul consciousness, which they were having body consciousness, because once the body consciousness aspect is there, we feel orphans. But now when we have the teaching to them that you are a soul, the consciousness is shifted from the body consciousness to soul consciousness, and we come to know that we the children of the same father, and he is our father, so we are not orphans at all.
How beautiful, how beautiful. So just get out of the body consciousness, connect yourself to the inner strength, and know yourself to be the soul.
Yeah.
And then we have the whole world as our family.
The whole world as our family, and the outlook of ours will be totally different. Initially we used to see others as they are different and I am different. The orphans were having one rejected feeling that, will I get acceptance from the society?
Yes. I remembered something I had read. Someone had said that a lot of times we hesitate to adopt. But as much as we hesitate to adopt, not knowing if we are ready to adopt, there is some child out there who is not ready to be alone. You know, so this is a very profound thought, and for those who are thinking about adopting, maybe this will allay their fears.
Yeah.
You know,
and one thing is that you said very correctly, they want a family. The children who are in orphanages, they are needing the family. They want that some parents will come and make me as their child, and they can turn their life into something better if they want. But one thing over here, the parents can be very natural to the child right from the childhood. Let them be open to the child, and meditation here plays an again very important role. With that opening, they give the shifting of consciousness and the direct connection with Supreme Soul. The vacuum which was there, which might be created because they are hiding something, they are hiding their emotions. The children, they are very pure souls. They catch the negative energy. So somewhere or the other, they catch the energy that something is being hidden from me. When it's totally natural and in an open way, both the side, there can be unconditional acceptance.
right? Because actually one of my cousins, she has adopted a child, and now the child has grown up to be an adult and married and having his own family. So what a noble deed to adopt someone and give them a new life.
Yeah, even I have one family member who just had adopted a daughter, and she has also grown up now, and they are living like a normal family now. It's nothing that there is a feeling of isolation or differentiation. The main feeling, when I have the consciousness of isolation, then I get that consciousness shifted to other people also. So here meditation helps us to be totally with ourselves. I realize myself as a soul, and in that connection itself I can feel at peace and at relaxed position.
That's very true. I actually had a friend in Chicago, and you know, over the years I found out, she told me that she was adopted. And the first thought that came to my mind was, oh, when your parents told you that you were adopted, how did you feel? And she was like, no, I was okay. My next question to her was, would you be interested in finding out who your biological parents are? Sometimes it's not easy to find out who your biological parents are. In such a situation, actually it goes both ways. I mean, if you find out who they are, you don't want to go to them because now you have another set of family. But at the same time, if you don't find out who they are, then at the back of your mind, you're constantly going to have at least a little bit of thought where...
One thought that these are not my biological parents, and who are my biological parents? That's the root of all the thoughts. That's the root of all the questioning, that who will be my biological parents? Why have they left me out? But once a person learns meditation, once he comes to understand that whatsoever the reasons were, now I have good parents, and the parents, they should be so much open to their child that you have been there, so it was a totally rejected feeling from that side. So why go there? Why go in that feeling again?
Okay.
Instead of that, if I shift my consciousness and have that feeling, and I take some time out from my daily schedule to go to the Brahma Kumari center and do meditation and have the meditative life, I would be at much peace. And these children who have been adopted, they can have the empathy for other children too. We have seen that these children, when they grow up as adult, they have the same empathy, and even if they don't adopt it naturally, means they don't keep the adopted children at home, they send them to some hostels or boarding so that their education can be completed.
That's
as
right.
now they are totally, you can say, persons who are good, responsible citizens who are earning, and some of the earnings they donate to their adopted children in this sense also.
Thank you, sister, for this very heartfelt conversation. I'm sure this conversation has given hope to children who are watching us and who are in orphanages. So I really thank you for being with us, and we look forward to your continued guidance.
Thank you. Om Shanti.
Dear friends, we just found out that we may be living in an orphanage, but we don't have to go through this gamut of emotions of being lonely, feeling alienated, isolated, or going into depression, sadness, because now we know that we have one solid support, and that is our Supreme Father. You can make him your friend. You can make him your father, a mother, whatever relation it is that you're looking for. He is willing to be that. So be sure next time you're in need, call upon him with all your heart. Just call him and he'll be there to help you right away. I hope you've found this discussion helpful, and keep those questions coming. If you have any questions or concerns, email us and we will get back to you as soon as possible. Thank you for watching us.